Yes, as we start the program proper, and as I tell you earlier, we did on governance, democracy, President Bio's speech na the United Nations General Assembly, peace and national cohesion, generally in the country. So for carry on with this discussion this morning, I get with me the Minister of Information and Civic Education, Chernor, and also Marcus Bangura, the Executive Director, Citizens Forum for Democratic Accountability, C4D. And hopefully would they hope for get somebody from the APC representative. Good morning, gentlemen. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning, and thank you very much.
Good to be here.
Yes, make us start with you, Mr. Minister. For over a month now, you don't go through, we don't go through the elections 3 months down the line. You come with a strategy for read out press releases in the local language, and again, on the lead on civic education. What's in the drive behind that?
Well, I'm glad for the back. With AYV, and I want to tell family all plenty thank you for all the support we don't receive. I think for we the premise is very simple. President Bio say that now the first president in the history of Salo we don't set up a ministry for civic education. Civic education means say we need for engage the citizens them. This is not a democracy. They continue, I say yesterday to the EU chief that with democracy not perfect, but can be perfected. We continue, we learn every day, we do different things. And one of the things that we don't learn is, I think Mr. Bano say, even before I join government, I don't make an intellectual argument that we mode of communication, parliament, government, not supposed to be in a language, we're exclusive to we will go school. So we talk to people inside English, we let for speak. English is good. All man know say, for example, me as I speak English, I get the best English. So it's not a question of whether English is important or not. But the data tell we say 90% of our citizens they get access to Creole, 90%. 10% or less now they talk English now. But over 90% they engage in Creole. So it's very simple. If you're not a government, we want to talk to the people openly, engage with them, let them talk back to you and talk with you. We change the language into the more accessible language. So all we do is we tweak that, we convert with press conference to Creole. And I'm glad if for note say, una na AYV, this show with me, they can plenty tell una been they speak the English the way Marcus then they can and scatter the English for people. Una said don't switch onto Creole. But as soon as they see, even the public engagements don't increase. And at this now the hallmark of democracy.
How you go assess the public engagement don't increase because not through Creole?
Clearly, if you even look at the engagements, for example, we will press conference, people will call me back, the feedback they will get. Una you show what they watch online, the comments they on that day, people just in general, we they engage citizens that don't travel across the country. People deeply appreciate. They say because traditionally, politics was seen like say we are elites no more. We talk to ourselves, we scatter the language, we speak. But when we talk Creole, the average man understand what they say. Yeah, we all struggle because we mix English inside there because we don't so used to that. But at least we make an effort. And if the person want to ask you question back, like we will press conference or civic engagement them or through the media where they go around, people then they feel comfortable for engage with we because they not take as that man there can ask and this in English they can speak with me not sabi. So I think we not just one minor but important way than they for expand the civic space. You
believe that this civic space when I don't create a platform for dialogue specifically to the All People's Congress Party we boycott governance because civic education again is not all about speaking, it's about having the platform as well to speak.
Well, I think we need to separate the issues.
Okay.
The All People's Congress Party a political decision they make. We only talk Creole because we want to talk to APC. APC they
I talk about dialogue English. Now. Dialogue, particularly.
I mean,
whether not English, whether
what you don't do, what you would take from that is, and again, we don't get a lot of feedback from international partners. Now the tone of the conversation will don't change. If you listen to me, APC people are now bother them, now we sister them. From where we come, we don't make them very clear that now we all get alone. Even with press conference, that we engagement them for the first time. Government they organize press conference when I will fund we get major platform. Each one will get post will not belong to government where they sit on. We need to tell what for say. Now they tell what you can talk, but we come on the topic. Now in the driving conversation, we don't get people who don't kind of we on press conference and criticize we. Not so small criticism. Some people that they call me say, why they give a platform? I say, no, because they are citizens of Salone. So the idea is dissent, debate, good for the democracy. So to the question of dialogue, you know, we hands open. President Bio, from the first day, from June when the election come out, the first way they announced even the 60%, where he did that speech that day, he make it very clear that Salone now we all get time and we for talk. He open his hand up, but you know when you open your hand, for even though we greet, it's like you self need for open your hand, come back. If me open my hand, you lock your hand. You say no, you take your toy there, you go na house. You know they can't for can engage. Dialogue na two-way process. So we dey still wait. We dey hear with brother and sister that they listen to them this morning on radio. They get together and say they ready. But as far as Salone is concerned, then get Salone as much as now we get Salone. These states now all get them. And the only way we move this country go before, not to one person vex, you go na house. And like be the play ball na instead. You need to take your ball, you go na house. For low play ball, also have you play, we put the ball, we say, okay, low play, we na is the man there, we buy it game, we play this, that, we enjoy ourselves. Now the invitation that we would extend to.
One of the major highlights of the president as we move to 100 days now, he traveled to the United States of America. He grants international interviews to international media. He addressed the United Nations General Assembly and as well Gona in College Webinde. And I also address the Sierra Leone community. But one thing we come out clear from all the engagement in the is about waiting the happiness Salone right now, the outcome of the election, the credibility of it, and the questions about integrity. You know, the president the UN General Assembly, you know, talk about how states therefore allow Sierra Leone, countries in Africa for be independent and do things their own way and accept even their own challenges them with elections and move ahead. Waiting with the projects as a nation, you know, waiting the happiness right now, waiting very clear now that for more common from election, there is still something hanging on us as a nation. Like you mentioned, the opposition yesterday, Dr. Samoa Kamara make statements and around even though they host you now, the comment that we can get now with Facebook page, you still understand say there is an impasse.
Yeah, but
waiting with the showcase as a nation as we go out there with the problem them back home.
So I think two important things there. We talk about dissent. Democracy requires dissent. Democracy no means we all not for the same side. So I can tell people and say, even if I can I want APC leader they let them there. I want a debate because I believe, say, I get superior ideas. Now me believe. I believe in the vision of President Bio. So let's start by saying the first thing. Not mean say if the citizens and disagree with we in a bad thing. It don't mean say if we get Sierra Leone and protest na you and a bad thing. Not a bad thing, no. That is a sign of a healthy democracy. A democracy, we don't get democracy if we all lie on one side with it. Not a democracy. Democracy requires. It's really important, eh? That make me as civic education minister, I can tell people and say, no. I want let people and criticize. I want let people and they on the other side. Not in a democracy. But the nature of that criticism, the way we will engage. What President Biogo say, he addressed many things that will go to the United Nations. By the way, you're right. Now, one of the most successful engagements of a Sierra Leonean leader at the United Nations in a long time. And I should know, I spent over, as you know, 12 years working for the UN, including New York and the go. This time, the president been get a very simple message that Salone dey on a democratic journey. And that democratic journey dey not perfect, but it's not a journey. And in continue for be committed, for do the things and for improve that journey. But in message don't also be clear. We Western partner them not supposed for they call them say on that journey when we get small kuskas, when we get small issues, disagreements, challenges, the reaction not for me for smashery, for weaponize the partnership we will get between we and them for condemn the entire process. If you look at this election, where you say, oh, we still get hanging in the balance, you know, me as a student of political science and a student of history. At the year 1996, so Kaifa Smart no accepts the election initially. In fact, Kaifa Smart claims he win the election. I was here. We've been there for that, 1996. In fact, after that, Tibu Bangura of PDP said I win. And a democracy. You come out from 1996, you go to 2002, okay? Anes Baikoroma, I watched that press conference day. He said the election was marred by serious irregularities. And in fact, after that, initially, he said it's very difficult for them to accept this election result. Engagement, again, the former president as a statesman, we think about what's best for this country. Now he say no. At the end of the day, he accept for the sake of peace and democracy. Now you come out 2002, you go 2007, you remember the infamous elections. You understand? Solomon Berwa, we've been getting Christian at top. It's a will go police. So many Sierra Leoneans, we were there on the other side. We be not just upset, we be angry. People will be willing for jumping the streets. But the statesman, I see give one very important interview to Joe Abbas. I want people to remember that because people they forget. Like saying that today disagreement on the election. Solomon Berwa was told inside a book that now you don't win the election. I don't know they talk say they don't win election. Nobody not give the official result. Official result, Solomon Berwa, somebody call and tell and say you don't win. Then go and change the result. In support of them, in short, keep in mind, would have been incumbents at the time, the SLPP party. Solomon Berwa said, no, I think of the better interest of this country. So no, I want to jump through the history because people they act like saying yesterday, person don't disagree with the election. Each and every one, our land, because there's a landing. One fundamental difference there between all the election in the and this one, for the first time in the history of Salone, a candidate, and by the way, almost all the one in the Dengo courts. President Julius Marabio, himself, where he come after the election day, himself, he even go courts. In fact, the courts, some of the cases are still pending. You know, if you can count up and down. But we follow the law. For the first step, Dr. Samuel Kamara, last election, he refused to accept Mbakwe loss. And even the international community knows say was handily defeated by President Bill.
No, but the
from an incumbent. No, the previous one.
Okay.
2018.
Okay.
Now we come to this one. So this is a man, we get a record of not accepting election results. And then this come. For the first time in the history of democracy, of this young democracy, we get a candidate. We lost the election. And the only way they win and lose the election as Salona by the law. This is a nation of laws. You either win or lose by the institutions the way they regulate the election. If you get problem with the elections, you go to court. How you go get a democracy? You say, no, we will not believe the court. How go democracy go before? But besides that, now the first step where you say candidates, they continue for refer to themselves as the winner, and they continue for say, they accept the election. We don't say we want peace. We're ready for engage. But I just want to let people remember, say, not to today, presidential candidates don't get issued with election. Not to today, presidential candidates don't get evidence of malpractices in election. Historians they would tell you, say, that Christina top down in Kailaon episode was massive. But the peace-loving citizens of this country, on both sides, Adeskoma, Solomon Berwa, President Bill, they always come together. So we hope say Dr. Samuel Kamara go take a leaf from all land and see say the country is bigger than any one individual in political ambition.
So it's over 3 months now, 3 months or so after the elections. And made on the follow President Bill now the UN General Assembly. And most times with President Bill they go under the highlights can be waiting in the showcase from Sierra Leone. The free quality education, human capital development and all of that. But this time, he was more talking about election and
No, not true. In fact, in speech now, I was there.
No, Mr. Minister, allow me make my point. You can react later. May watch the statements, and if you watch the trajectory of the news after in statements, international news, most of the things we come after, it is in statements on questioning the international community, about questioning African countries and the independence of African nations. The point I'm making is it that this government, they spend more time trying to seek legitimacy than addressing some of the social issues that they go on?
No, Mr. Ba, with respect, I not feel say I don't ever hear a description we more different from the reality.
No,
when President Bill go UN, he get over 50 bilaterals. 50. From IMF, no mention of elections. It was about development. So the fact say for the first time in 50 years.
I was specific about the UN General Assembly.
No, the Camden now. The Camden now, where can UN General Assembly? First speech was about attack on education. No mention on election. In fact, I be the keynote speaker. After that, he focused on Sierra Leone in ascension to the UN Security Council. Hey, leaders of the world, from Ukraine to Korea to Poland, all now meet His Excellency. You know why? Because in now a part of the leadership echelons of the global community.
Mr. Minister,
I want to clarify that issue. So even on his speech,
let's clarify what you had to say. I'm saying the point about waiting the media run with and waiting the media report from the president in address.
Even the media,
if you check from the university, we go make statements to the UN General Assembly. It's about the elections.
No, but again, at the university, the president gave a public lecture. We focus on human capital development, and he make an intellectual case on that. He not even mention election until during the question and answer when he was asked directly about election. So I just say, you can't waiting the president in message now that the transformation of Salone as a democracy is based on the advancement they would make in human capital development. This is not a president who make a big bet on education, and that bets they pay off. You don't see the country move in a very positive direction. He acknowledged, because now possibly they live in the real world, that yes, we get some questions about the participation of the opposition. But it don't make it clear, say, a democracy, the business of government, they go on. And because in a peace-loving statesman, he say he open always for engage with the opposition. On the question of the media, I listen to interviews, and I did will do interviews with like VOA, China, Al Jazeera. In fact, elections come up less than 2% of their conversation again. The focus was waiting at President Bill vision as now a member, and by the way, next year will also become, for the first step, the leader of the United Nations Security Council. So the world want to know. They want to know about security situation in the sub-region. You talk about democracy in Salone, they were ahead of, if you think about this neighborhood. Coups everywhere, problems everywhere. But even the APC could tell you, say, in the midst of challenges, we get beaucoup things to go for. We even you talk about dialogue. That's a sign of progress because we engage with each other. So yes, I agree. We go wish for the talk about election. Because again, the process for this, for be through the courts or through, but we get the opposition party. We get people that we intend for they out there and just bash the country and for just do things. And are we on job now for project the positive image of the land that we love in Salone?
So before you come in quickly, Nadande, I will ask, is it that we're spending more time talking about post-election as a nation instead of looking at, like we mentioned, President Bill, the 100 years very soon.
100 years.
100 days, sorry, very soon. And instead of looking at some of the things that we will achieve, we still get discussion. If you follow the media locally as well, the discussion is much about dialogue, the opposition not being part of governance and all of that.
No, I think, say, again, in a democracy, you forget space for do multiple things. You are right. We spend some time, they talk about the democratic process. We will now talk about the democratic outcome and the best interest of the people there. But the president gets a Big Five agenda. We don't get a lot of visibility. If you talk to any Sierra Leonean now, they don't hear about Big Five. In focus now for feed the people, in focus now for human capital development, youth empowerment, infrastructure and technology, and reform of the public service. Then our President Bio in focus. We within our government, we go on with the business of government. And I know we talked yesterday. We can continue for the talk argument, they go on here, but the business of government, they go on. We just got sworn in into the ECOWAS Parliament. We just don't take receipts now the observer status first at the Security Council. And at the business, we just don't swear in a judge at an international tribunal from Salon. So this they show say the country, the image of the country at the international arena. And that people they say this is like a country where they emerge. They don't come off from a country where they be known for blood diamonds and all that thing, to a country where a leader now on peace, security, on justice. And yes, we're a young democracy. And yes, we're democracy imperfect. But we definitely there in the process of engaging and fixing that democracy so it will be better.
Okay, make I bring in Marcus now. Let's take you to a particular paragraph 19 of President in speech. You say, since we are on dialogue, true dialogue requires honesty and a genuine willingness from all parties to adjust, adopt, and find mutual understanding. Everyone at the negotiating table must be ready to seek and find a common ground. That particular paragraph, it reflects back what's in the happen at home as a country and generally your assessment of the speech.
Yeah, thank you very much. A very important aspect you really take into consideration. And Mickey always say, as Sierra Leoneans, similarities far supersedes with differences. And differences could be better reconciled, where we get love, respect for one another. Right, so looking at that particular statement there, of course, with a reflection, because that statement you get for predicate on the elections, the outcome of the elections, because a major factor we give rise to that, because since the elections, we caught in a web. There have been a lot of issues, a lot of problems. Even the government itself not able to sit down proper, because of the fact, say, you get certain people that will shed eyebrows on the president in position with regards to the outcome of the election, just like we Sibadi talk. The fact is, in a democracy, you get varied opinions. Maybe you don't get one opinion, or we don't get one view. So because of that, we don't get a lot of elections. Most of these elections don't come up with controversy. But irrespective of that, Sierra Leone don't become the envy of Africa, because we don't get successive elections, despite the fact that we get one or two criticism, one or two posts accept, just like Samuel Kamara in 2018, it was very difficult for him to accept the results. And this also, if you reflect back to 2012, President Bio, up to date, you don't ever accept the fact he lost that election day. So you see, that is always the game with him. But when you talk about that particular paragraph, if you reflect the reality at the grounds, as far as are concerned, and as far as public opinion, talk about public opinion and the aggregate of views held by the public on a particular issue. If you take them beyond the internal dynamics, you take her externally, you will also agree with me, say, the international community as well shed eyebrows on that, right? So, looking at the whole thing is, of course, we need peace, we need dialogue, for make we reach at a point where we will get stability at the country. But how will you go about the dialogue? Understand? We for be very honest, just like what the president said. But you look at her, is there that amount of honesty in it? Understand? Because the problem is when you look at assessment, general assessment, you talk about, for example, MCC, you talk about a lot of other things. Mostly internally, let's say they can come out, but internally, it's difficult for make people accept, say this thing is real. You understand? Because this is an election. We don't get divergent views. And President Bio in success depends on an ability for influence the opposition and make sure, say, he able for stabilize them, because you will talk about governance, now you actions, you directions, you understand, and management of the affairs of the states. Now there is this kind of a division. And honestly, the government don't get stability. But one thing about the government, irrespective of all within the state, they keep going.
What do you mean in not get stability, please?
Government not get stability because one of the most important aspects of good governance is participation. Two, na recognition. When you talk about sovereignty, this sovereignty talk what you talk about. Sovereignty na supreme authority. You understand? But no sovereignty is free. All sovereignty gets limitations. And one of the limitations is recognition. Recognition can be internal recognition, external recognition. Now when you talk about the internal recognition, especially after elections, most times after elections, if you be recognized just after the elections, we give you the mandate of legitimacy. Legitimacy that you brought down, you will get the legal aspect of it, you get political aspect of it, because when you talk about legitimacy, now if you talk about the legitimate means by which you get power, you understand? And mostly they attributed to the ballot box through the mandate of the people, you understand? So when the ballot box become questionable, the question of stability speaks to it. You understand? So now that I mean, I don't necessarily mean say we not get peace. You understand? Because people in the move.
You infer say the government's not legitimate. Is
no,
what you say?
I will not say the government is not legitimate. If you look at various aspects of legitimacy, right now, by virtue of the fact that the president was declared the winner of the elections, right, and also was sworn in, right, by the Chief Justice. It takes a man to say it's not legitimate. You understand? And because of the fact that you go through that. But again, you get to look at other factors where you get to take into consideration. You understand? You can get legitimacy legally, but politically, the legitimacy can be questionable. Now, make I talk about recognition, right? We go agree, say, internationally, there is a lot of problems. In fact, we preempt the president. And in first meeting, I think he will deliver a speech now, one of the university. You understand? And at the end of the day, he talk about even question the American interfering. You understand? Where the Americans themselves say the elections was not free and fair.
No.
You understand? But that is what they say.
But that's not true.
No, but okay, if you say it is not true, if you say, except where one is blind or is reluctant to accept the fact. But the Qatar Foundation, you understand, come out and talk, say, the election was not credible. Okay, so perhaps I will use the exact word, credible. If you say the question, if you say the election is not credible by an international organization, we were renowned, you understand, and known, right, for observing elections, right, then come with that statement there. Right? So as a result of that, we don't see some kind of support we Salon forgets, we not able to forget as a result of all incident for now. So as a result of that, you will take and so. The government is legitimate. In my own perspective, you understand? The government is legitimate because are legally oriented, are politically oriented. You understand? So as a result of that, it is legitimate in the sense that the government was declared the winner of the elections, just like any other elections. I can understand. Then also, the government has been sworn in, right? But if you look at, except then petty things here, so they turn blind eyes on. Now the factors then, where they put you in a standstill, where they make we retrogress rather than we progress. Because if we take all this what's into consideration, right? The president able for law, because until he able to get that perfect international recognition. Okay, don't go United Nations, which is very, very good. And by virtue of the president being in the United Nations, you understand, and in contributions, because of course, Sierra Leone don't take a step forward. So because of that, a lot of people therefore push for see the president for discuss a lot of things. But it is not so much about what you say internationally. It is what you say and what you do, you put into practice effectively and efficiently within. Because at the end of the day, for make we get peace, the opposition self therefore think wisely, you understand? And she say, well, what we need now for make we able to push this country for go before. That make you always say with similarities far supersedes with differences, right?
Yes, the minister.
No, I just want to clarify for me comrade. They talk something there where I think people they need to understand. One on the question of stability, as I don't mention, if stability they be measured by what you just say, when there are questions people they ask about any election, then Salon one day stable. Because as I don't point out, from 96, every election,
the magnitude.
People, well, land, right? Then one. Again, you talk about magnitude, history, the funny thing about history is that there is a way we deem the fact from the past. Because we live in something that if you say it's so big. On the question of legitimacy, law being clear, okay? The elections be observed by AU, ECOWAS, Minor River Union, multiple international partners, EU. None of them party they don't claim say now other person win the election. Not one. Okay? It's very important. All the African observers say the elections, yes, had some technical challenges, but that the elections represent the fullness and the fairness of the results. That's a fact. Commodity move to the fact that this is one of the most peaceful elections we don't get in the history of Salon. May I start for, as I say, observe election from 1996. I don't know observing a political scientist. So it's important for letting point that they are speaking of stability. When the US ambassador outgone been talk, he say one thing people they ignore. He said the legitimacy of President Bio no in question. President Bio is the legitimately elected president of Salon. Now, whether person take that now, you go to your room, you say an obrio, and you. But the means of legitimization at Salon is very clear. That through the law, we point out, and through as well with participation in international bodies. Nobody know the way they talk, including the APC, where they go meet His Excellency, and they refer to as His Excellency. Why? Because he's the president. We get a cabinet, we get a government, with a function, we are a very stable, functional country. By the way, no international partner nor the question the legitimacy of this country. Just yesterday, I hosted the EU ambassador. We can talk to me in my capacity as minister and talk about the interest follow. We look at recommendations and how they go forward. Now, one group they will not can participate yet, but even in that group they will get people who don't come parliament. We go America with a member of the opposition. When I hosted that in this year, Honorable Mohamed Bangoua. So again, you know they talk say, oh, you get one or two people, or let's say a group we don't refuse for the first time in history. First time for accept the outcome of an election. But what we are glad for now that yesterday we see Mr. Samura Wilson Kamara say, apologies, say then the dialogue. We in a peaceful one. Now Salon will like. You the vex, you know, you go vex, you at warm and all. What the business of Salon for go forward? And that dialogue there will be the basis of how the country go forward.
Like it quickly, waiting Dr. Samoa say yesterday in his statements. Like it quickly. He say, and I quote, what President Bio and his government are claiming is not victory. It's a coup against the will of the people. As a country, we will wholeheartedly reject this blatant electoral coup and usurpation of our common will. We cannot accept an illegitimate takeover of government by force of arms or fraudulent means. We cannot allow ourselves to be subjected to a premature end to our hard-earned democracy by a president and a regime that wants to retain power despite an abysmal 5 years record of bad governance, unprovoked human rights violations, several uninvestigated extrajudicial killings, to pretending an economy that is now on the brink of an irreparable collapse and massive electoral rigging just to retain power. End of quote.
We see don't learn in this million life, and that's when politicians they talk. Some of them talk here. You read between the lines. Okay, Dr. Kamara, he get some issues we get for deal with in your backyard. So some of them statements here we make clearly the audience, some of them they not to this now political say. For example, if you want to talk about brink of the economy, that argument should have been made in the elections. Now maybe the people of Salwa they decide about the economy or would I get the right idea for win. Now let me make one more thing clear. Even the worst, and this is important, even the worst critics of this election the people away at one pass all, we say they get results. In the results, President Bio win more than 50%. So that statement, they know they can say, add up. No, let's just be clear. Even the one that way, now that statement they are the council now. Even the one, so on the question of legitimacy, let's be clear on one thing. Even the one that way when they call, we go say, oh, when I knew, we say they get their own document. Even in their own document, between the two, one person win, and that person is His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Sierra Leone, Dr. Julius Maada Bio. Fact. That's nothing.
That is your own interpretation.
Not only interpretation, new then their own number they would then give President Bio over 50% of the vote. Fact.
Yeah, but you were saying they should be runoff.
No. Yeah, so good. So that's it. But runoff na 55% at the threshold. Exactly. But they say there is nowhere.
So
but listen. There is no reading of this election where Dr. Samoei Kamara win. There's none. And also doing that the legitimate body where they ascribe that win election.
Of course.
Okay. Now ECSL, and if person get question, if you get other evidence, you take it to the court. But just they say there's nowhere in the world.
What think government make of this statement?
What will make of this statement? I don't say you see. For we now one headline we take out of that. It's one headline. Dr. Samoei Kamara need for engage with a young party for bring they along. The most important part of that statement. Now. You see the dialogue. We as a government, the business of government, they go forward. All this other talk, if somebody want to talk, this is not a democracy in a free country. If somebody want to talk, you want to criticize, you want to use English. Look, if you get questions on election as alone, I cut you to go. Not to press conference, you go talk. If you get questions about certain things, systems and procedures in there. Now, when it comes to political participation, now dialogue. Now, as long as the outcome of that press conference and that Dr. Samoei Kamara able to engage in party with our brother and sister them and bring them down to the table and let us get dialogue with the move this country go before, President Bio, and that is in your interest. President Bio get thick skin. Care about like side attacks, small statements that are clearly political because they are held in a political building. That's fine. Let the man talk.
Okay, Marcus, you want for clarity?
Yes, I want one clarity in the first place. The way I talk about legitimacy, I need to look at a parochial point of view, you understand? It will be very difficult for Baker to say the government is not legitimate. It's a political science student, no longer a student.
Well,
just like me,
we're always
politics
students.
history. You understand?
Yes.
So, as a result of that, you get to look at when you talk about elections. You make one last statement, just not say, in we talk say President Bio gets more than 50% of the votes, which is very, very clear.
No, I say in the worst reading
of
the election,
yes. President
Bio still emerges as the winner. Full stop.
Yes. Now you talk about 50%. You talk about 50%. We don't want me to try for question you.
No.
We don't say there is a threshold.
I say in the worst reading.
Yes. In the threshold.
Quote me right. I mean.
Yes. No, but then I also listen to what you say. You understand them? I listen to what you say. I can testify their records to it. Yeah. Right? You talk about, say you go talk, say, you get above 50%. Let's say you get above 50%. But the threshold, right, is 55%. So that is one area. Except if you can able to justify that particular thing they back say. They get 55%.
No, but the justification of that, sorry Marcus, sorry, I really apologize for interrupting. The justification of that statement who they read say, that brass say na you win.
Yes,
I go win way, even the worst person say,
yes.
Even the worst person when you rely on, say over. And then I want to say, the brand win. There's no
really very important aspect you mentioned, so you understand him? Because for the mere fact that they insist on the president having over 50%, don't disqualify whosoever. Say, for example, Samoei Kamara say he win the elections. Because at 55%, if somebody get 51%, you know go win at 49%. Now that's the try.
No, 41. 41.
Yeah, 41%.
Right. Now, the
man 51 and 49.
Yeah, but in the 40
I look at the percentage.
Listen, get the numbers right.
No for the obstruct.
Get the numbers right.
You talk about, they talk say, 100% so, 51, if I get example,
but not to then 2 no more.
Now 49.
But not to then 2.
You understand? Okay,
let's say 41.
Okay, let's say, okay, I agree with you, right?
41 no goes in win election.
Example in that situation. Now they talk about new, right? New in 2018, similar occur, you understand, wherein you say runoff league. And it's still imagine them, now SFBC, you shall be able to watch them. You say, we can forget runoff, you understand? And indeed, there was a runoff. And in this case, they also talk about runoff. What you so? New say runoff. I'm not saying you say Samuel Kamara we know. Now Samuel Kamara in your party, now they believe say then win the elections. But new, you understand, not ever talk say Samuel win or SFPP win, you understand? But that is to say that there could have been possible runoff. So when anything did not happen, it gives rise for suspicion and distrust. You understand? Ugly fingers will be pointed. Right? And the whole aspect of this governance, the whole aspect of, we're talking about legitimacy. That makes us look at the parochial point of view, because in as much as the government is legitimate, but you get other factors when they look at, we all know what is happening in the country at the moment.
Okay.
You understand? So as a result, if we consider all incident day, there is that tendency for make you also question. One thing when we just believe that the fact say the president, irrespective of all this, he keep a head going. Understand?
Okay, Marcus. For the next few days, President Bill will go into 100 days of governance, and whether or not APC is with them, or whether or not APC is not in governance, what you go say now the democratic nature or the tendency for this country for move past elections and make people go into human capital development, for example, or personal progress as a nation.
You make a look at two sides of the coin. One side of the coin, wherein President Bill, as he is, now president will not get any encumbrance, any difficulties, with his FM. You understand? What the President Bill would do in that perspective, he gets in big five big changes. And I tell you, say, then particular thing in the, if they put her into effect properly, this country will forge ahead. Right? Because if you look at the aspect of feet alone, for example, right? A good theoretically, you understand? A good, it sounds well. But can it be translated into action and produce results? Which make us say so. Feet alone, in my own perspective, as an analyst, right? I would like for juxtaposal, put them together with the 2018, after 2018, the aspect of agriculture, that be a priority. Farming, you understand, become a kind of a vanguard, right? But we get a lot of ministers, we claim say that we get farms. Me always say that demonstration farms. Because one person who I feel say they do well was the former chief minister, then foreign affairs minister. You understand? But apart from him, you know, all these farms that they talk about, now utopia, you understand? Now fantasy. But now you look at it with feet alone, it's like, now similar things to me. It's like pushing that particular aspect into feet alone. It is good for feet alone, you understand? And make sure, say, you intensify in agriculture. You bring that, then they come up. You look at the aspect of creating jobs for youth. You understand? It's another aspect. Is it 500,000, right? If the youths, they're able to get job. Now, if you look at what's happening in the country, lack of job, you understand, are a major factor where it don't lead to frustration, where people defend themselves, they take push, right? Because if we get, let's say, for example, you get a group of people, they want to become musicians. You create that aspect, that facility, you understand, for them. You get someone for play football. Not that we don't get them, but they're inadequate enough. So as a result of that, creating 500,000 jobs for youth, you know, very, very good. You look at the infrastructural development. You understand, like, for example, the civil service, right? We can talk about the public service. And the public service, or let me say the civil service, that's the backbone of any government. When you get a civil service that is rotting, a civil service that is not effective, that is not efficient, the possibility for make the government forge ahead, you understand, will be very, very difficult, right? So this aspect is very, 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 very important. Okay. So I feel, say, what the government will do again at the aspect of tolerance, that aspect of political tolerance, that aspect of political inclusion. So that one side of the coin, I just look at a side of the coin wherein they will not get then kind crisis there also. But if you look at the other aspect of the coin, where this crisis they go on, you understand, the president gets a challenge, right? Because for making able, you can get one representative or two representatives in parliament, you understand? But it don't go reflect, because why will it create parliament? It creates parliament for get representation of parliament, right? That is why the country is divided into constituency, in this case into districts. So you will get representatives there where they go there, because we all know we go to parliament. You understand? Gone are the days of Athens, where people will meet in the marketplace because the number was small. We can't even meet at the national stadium. You understand? So as a result of that make get representative. So we'll not for trivialize that. It's very important. If you get one, even if you get 10 from the opposition or other areas, you understand, for go into that system, it will be very, very difficult. So that is why the president, right, therefore do, just like they used to say, as they talk, now so it work. You understand? You get to do that, because it's not just a mere statement. You understand? Because now you get a lot of people that we are arrested, that we are detained during the elections. You understand? Now then you get for starts. You understand? Make sure say you get for ferry for appease. You know, politics, we know they practice politics, but we read politics. You understand? And I'm very much interested in politics, in the sense that I read them, I analyze them, you understand? But the whole problem is we get for put them into practice. Okay. And putting it into practice, you understand, you get for look at political participation. When you talk about governance here, we talk about good governance. Okay. You get aspects of good governance. And this aspect of good governance, until we put it into force, into demonstration, you understand, otherwise, it's rather things I see.
Okay. We get a lot of messages.
A lot of them, yeah. We need to take some of them. Let the minister respond. Yeah. The minister get for good cabinet today, I understand. So we need for getting a response to the public. I'll start with Ronald Beresford. He say the tit for tat continues where these two parties think they have the rights to 10 years in power, where the opposition cries foul, and the winner is hell-bent on holding on to power regardless of the frailties. The economic situation is worse, and there's no remedy from both to turn the economy around for its people. When Sierra Leoneans realize that these parties don't have your interests at heart, then remember your social and economic situation will never improve where party interest comes first before the people or country. You can talk till the cows come home, but Sierra Leone is divided.
Another one they say, I'm asking Mr. Bangura, please, to profile the way forward for this country. Ibrahim Jakima saying the worst reading of new results, that is what the minister is referring to, because new projection results puts President Bio ahead of Samora, which the APC relies on as evidence. Eddie Grant say, does this trumpeted new has the right to call an election a runoff? That's my question. Or is it just an election monitoring body? Only the ECSL has the mandate to call an election result as per the 1991 Constitution.
Sulaiman Kamara says Samora Kamara have no better messages to the people of Sierra Leone. They should come together and work for the development of this country.
Another one, they say we should move forward as a country and leave this election talk.
Abbas Habib Koka Bangali say, which leader in the whole wide world where an elected parliamentarian refused to take their position in parliament as a president, now as a non-permanent member of the UN, will sit and just wait until they return to parliament? Let governance continue.
Michael Koka, they say ECSL should ban any other smaller groups at Chernor they make mention from participating in elections monitoring in the future, since they violated their mandate.
Justice Moisamba say, can I ask a general question, please? And please direct this question to either Marcos or any person coming to represent either the opposition. But Marcos not there for represent the opposition, by the way. And we must make it clear, say we invite the APC. Unfortunately, we not get them at the studio. But Justice Moisamba question is 2012 election not questioned by the then opposition. I think the answer will always be yes. However, did they blow things out of proportion like the past election?
Ibrahim Kama, Jakima, they say Samora Kama's statement yesterday in his press conference was full of political rhetoric to appease his APC grassroots supporters so he could continue to gain sympathy from them. The key take home yesterday is his willingness to dialogue with the government, which is the big picture of President Bio to engage the opposition.
Eddie Grant said the election was not free and fair and you failed to do the needful. Why not challenge it in court as it used to be?
Simba Cole asked a question, but you never called any result. Am I correct?
Oreto say, Mr. Minister of Civic Education, Can you please explain the information going around that there will be a re-election soonest? Please explain and clarify such news going around on social media.
Michael Coker, they say again, projections are not facts, but people are talking about projections as facts.
Okay, the final one where they take, then we get the minister in reaction from Cherry Barry say, this is not a small issue. It's the fundamental principle of democracy, that legitimacy.
Conte J, they say, Salone within a politics, when we go move out of this politics, citizens are dying of hunger.
And we'll get the minister for respond to some of the comments.
Well, I just want to say thanks to the people there. I think it's good to see again as signs of more and more civic engagement. And I want to tell you one way, particularly thank you, we express them, view them in such a respectful manner. As I say, most people don't know, say, outside of this place, me and Marcos, for example, we are very good friends. Obviously, I can always make it clear, say, Mr. Bayan and my brother. So, that's so politics supposed for day. We're supposed to continue to engage with each other. I get beaucoup respect for Dr. Samuel Kamara. I get beaucoup respect for beaucoup people within APC. And then that foundation will try for lay. That this country now all gets we can disagree without being disagreeable. One specific question, there is somebody say the Leone election. I could assure the people of this country, the election, it be not done. The term for election be not done completely. We get a winner, His Excellency President Julius Madabio. We get a parliament with a function. We get a cabinet. Like you say, today we go cabinet. Nothing will get for change. And at the fact, anybody tell you anything otherwise, I will tell you say they try to mislead you. And I'm a job for give you that information there, and I don't promise you say I will be truthful to you. Even if you listen to Dr. Samuel Kama in speech yesterday, no mention or they say they get for run election. Even Dr. Samuel Kama, they talk about for dialogue with the government. That there's a government. So yes, we will continue to get this conversation on, okay, would I do this, how we engage, how we make things better for the people of this country. And in the conversation with the international partners, really important that the conversation they will get now, how we will make sure say the mistake that will happen today, that will not happen tomorrow. Now, when they call for publication of results or this, that, importantly they know two important things before I come on here. One, no past election on day we don't ask ECSL for publish the entire way they ask for. The results are actually published at the polling station. APC maybe when they talk to them say they get the results. But when I publish and when I get her, they did not. Because the rules then clear. And other thing where people have to understand. Before the election, Commonwealth Canada, Dr. Samuel Kamara and President Madabio then signed onto a process. The process may include, we don't agree with the rules they will set. Their rules then not include, say, the thing they ask ECSL of. ECSL don't violate any rule. If I let people understand this, then I one. Two, so this already happened on an extra addition that people they ask for. The law has been complied by. Even the one that will be talking on social media, they make, they don't set small because the law, it don't be complied by fully. Now, it don't mean say we're not going to improve the law. President Bio don't even commit say we need to look at the law. But nobody need to talk about say with them call. That's number one. Number two, one of the things that way Dr. Samuel Kamara signed on to in that ECOWAS peace pledge, now that if you get problem with the election, they go court. Now inside now not to me, and the other leader there. So this now again a case where we see a leader for the first time in history. We don't refuse to accept and they create this system say we can't participate. We the hope say, now that make we say, I'm glad with that comment at Okan. We the hope say the headline of that speech, now a political speech, it was held at a party headquarters. It's fine, they can make a political speech. Now I don't say we need a civic space. All man for talking you let all blow steam. But the headline is they're willing or can't sit around the table.
How far are we as a nation with this dialogue? You know, from after the election, and Dr. Samuel Kamara said talk yesterday, saying President Bio meets, and that informed the issue about dialogue. But how far we there now? It's 3 months. Everybody will get now. Most times they talk about dialogue is going on. Whose side we dip on this dialogue?
It's important for clarify this dialogue issue, because the dialogue, they stop the business of the people. As I don't say, parliaments they go, cabinets they go, government they go. We not sit down they wait for Joint Security Council say because we don't know it. These are the internal process of a democracy. How would they engage with each other? So yes, we don't get preliminary conversations then. And now, like how Dr. Samura Kama said yesterday, we're on the eve of foreseeing they go engage, they get their own team, they get their own position, and we engage on how they go forward. Now that engagement, and that's not on the table. I can tell the people of Salone now, we get for deal with rerunning election. That's not an option.
What's in the engage
election
about?
Don't pass. Well, and thing I then say, then they not participate, and then they come. We the wait, we get open hand. We ready, we the country they go forward. We want to let them take their seats because the people that we vote for them, then people that they deserve a voice. In the local council, the people that will vote for APC, the people who vote for APC in the parliament, me self now as information minister, I didn't tell you, say, you know me from mommy to go school. A debate is what I crave. I want to let the superiority of my ideas they win. I look forward for take on the opposition on this table one-on-one. I want for show say yes, we ideas they better. Until they come around the table, no together. So that they enhance the democracy. So now then we look forward to waiting the ones, the ones. Dr. Samura Kama list something there yesterday. Then they call for this, they call for this. I mean a peace study, but right now I'm not at the peace table, so I know the comments.
Okay.
I don't say the official comments of the government is. We know they comment on the politics where the man talk about. What will they comment on the outcome, which is they are willing to come forward and dialogue. To that we say Alhamdulillah.
Okay, Mr. Minister, I'll not let you go. We not talk about quickly about social issues and the economy. Most times, a few days ago, we get the Importers and Traders Union here. They talk a lot about how the challenges they would get with inflation and other things. And yesterday, when I get the Minister of Energy at the government press conference, they talk about the new tariff.
Yeah.
What's in the assurance to the Sierra Leoneans that government is doing much to address the economic situation at this country?
I really want for. I'm glad we asked that question. I say yesterday at the press conference, we not Sierra Leoneans. I not become a monster overnight. Some of we left, but good thing for kinds of government. I know can I for can make money. We always what they do na that cabinet. But young people, we don't say we get life after. After this time, we get for day back to all around. We all get for the meets back na Jijibonza and chill. Na club and all, because when our young people are picking them, we care about this country. President Bio care deeply about Salone. I can see, I tell you now what on day, I watch them the day in meetings and sometimes 3-4 in the morning. Most of them conversation in there about what we will do for move this country go before. So I have to acknowledge first of all, say things are tough. The people of this country they go through a tough time. We get family there, we get people there. They call me, they feel the pinch of the economic situation. I don't want to make light of that at all. And I want the people that know say this government feel that pain, knows that pain, and they do the best we can every day for solve that. Now that problem, that pain day, some of it, now external factors. If you look the news, if you just do economic hardship, if you just Google, you will see say America, England, India, somebody they tell me say today food shortage, rice shortage, all around the world. The economy right now, because of the crisis, they will get oil crisis, the fuel crisis. Yes, we get a crisis, but we're a small country in the world. And most unfortunately, over the years, we not don't deal with the fundamentals of it for make we a self-sufficient country. So we take the pain of them problem in the tariff, for example, we deal with yesterday comprehensively. Now because of depreciation of local currency and the price of the global markets almost would go by day. Today, if you pay 20,000 loans, you're able to convert that into dollar and go buy. Now we pay 20,000 loans, now half of that money you get. The fact of the matter is that government not able to use that $20,000 again, 20,000 loans again, for buy enough for you for help with the country. So government is forced for increase. But what think government they do with now with you they ask? Government, the Minister of Finance, His Excellency the President, they look at some long-term comprehensive solutions, including how they take advantage and take responsibility of your mining sector, of your productive economy. The focus on agriculture, feed Salone. President Bio, his first gamble was education. It don't pay off significantly. But now President Bio say, let's feed the country. If we self-sufficient, if we're able to feed the country, so it make big investments in that area. We look at international partners, but the business climate, the business sector, one creates predictability. We see new, innovative solutions and ideas in the camp. In the energy sector, you talk about MCC. We look for that partnership because we want an investment for increase the energy sector. So yes, I watch and I in them conversation in the people within governments, they do them very best every day. You know, means say thing for change tomorrow. I don't want to mislead the people them. Not to tomorrow you will feel this transformation.
Short-term plan day?
Yes, short-term relief then day. Plenty. We just talk about some of the changes, for example, in the energy sector, which we try to do, investment we make. In the food sector, you see seed providing different things into people for increased productivity, increased yield, see what's in the Minister of Agriculture.
The government have the thing for cutting expenditure at a time like this,
because just like yesterday
we see a lot of letters that they go out of new appointees.
I don't see that. I don't see that.
Because one of the things that these governments talk about before they kind of power, the issue of the wage bill,
correct.
Appointments and all of that, and we still see that there.
You see, wait till I explained to somebody earlier about the wage bill and this question of, for example, so the fact is government need for upgrades. The fact is, for let we solve them problem, government need top personnel, right? Take a person like me, right? I've been there in the own sector. I run an organization with get a budget of $10 million a year. I come into government. I try now for use new expertise and just go for hire me. Of course, we make sacrifices. Some of who don't lose significant percent of income we make for coming to government. So people know they acknowledge that part stay. Then in a contribution to the government. You take people like the environment minister, deputy minister of justice. These are people who really earn plenty money outside, finance minister, but they don't come for the government. When you talk about expenditure, you look at even with participation in international events, you look at the today, now you see President appoint, for example, 4 advisors. People say, oh, wage bill. The President had about 15 advisors in the past. Now you get 4. Well, the President needs advisor. He needs advisors.
Yeah, but the question has been, if the President get the minister, you look at youth. Let's look at youth. You get the minister, you get youth envoy,
yes,
you get youth advisor.
But youth envoy not paid. Youth envoy not they contribute to the wage bill. So you see now that thing they will need for provide clarity. Youth envoy is not paid. Some of them people they get a letter. Then say, okay, use your own platform for promote the country. Not all man, they on salary. Some people are like, some people and some of them, they contribute. We own resources them. I know they say this is not the case across the board. Yes, when you hire people, they get for pay them. Government indeed need for put people on wage. But I just want to say sometimes the conversation about wage bill is exaggerated. Because what's in they happen, we President make one appointment today, somebody go on Twitter and say, hey, wage bill. The other person they make appointment. But the fact of the matter is, for example, NMA need Director General. Now that day because an important institution. And that institution they now, if we don't put the right person there, it will work with the private sector, we convert her into something we're able to bring resources now with the help the economy.
So the president need an advisor on social welfare and inclusion?
Yes, because President's vision, if you take President's vision on human capital development, President don't particularly prioritize gender equality. We all know that. And by the way, they not just prioritize that, we see big changes in that area. We double the percentage of women in our cabinet, double the percentage of women in our parliament. He want now for think about this is a president we're known for radical inclusion. So they advise our way they make so now people will get experience in their sector then they. And some of them, like I don't say again, they are not on huge if president goes outside, we cabinet members, we go for deeper, we own it's not so every day will they be president. You need people the way they are around them. We go lunch, we they talk to, we go say, okay, on this question of inclusion, what's in your own perspective? Engage for me by bringing this paper everywhere in the world. Each president he get an advisor than this. So sometimes when they make this thing, compare that with how we they see what's in the occur around the world. And again, not to make light of this question, we need for cut excesses where we get excesses, but finally we focus on the thing that we actually, if president sack 3 people, not to that ain't touch your wage bill. The real problem we blow to wage bill is that we hire thousands of new teachers. You want to sack a teacher, then we cannot. Because they want an investment in the future of the country. Like I say, President Gamble, 22%, I would spend the highest on education. He don't commit, he maintain that. Highest in Africa on education. And a progressive investments than they. They hire new nurses, new health workers, and that's not the wage bill. So if I let the conversation focus on that, people then say, oh, the other day somebody say, let them cut minister and salary by half. And I say, hey, I get for go seek permission for let advertise almost at the pay we. Let we some of you talk almost will be get paid, almost we can. If you think say na dan day will work na for that no. So I know it's easy for let you focus on that. But the real issues, then the way that make if I love the civic education, so we'll talk freely and openly with each other from that perspective.
How you go use your ministry for address the issue of kush together with other MDs where it bother we, so the reality is on the ground. How you plan for tackle that?
No, but you know the president don't call for a very serious conversation on kush. He don't set up an interministerial group with the Ministry of Civic Education, did he? Ministry of Social Welfare, Internal Affairs. One big thing I want to say is that on the kush crisis, we not deal with like a law enforcement issue. We need to solve this problem by just arresting and putting in jail so many of the young productive people in our society. We're supposed to be productive. It's not a societal problem. We all get for big part. And we ministry, you're right, civic education, drug enforcement, it requires civic education. We need to engage communities, parents them. We need to engage at schools, at community level. We need to do social service. We need to invest in providing care for the one that we're already there in and for do prevention. So now a big problem, you're right, we don't get all the time now for deal with them. But I will assure you, say, President Bill, even they consider for declare an emergency. This is on the table. Because so that we will be able to divert additional resources then to this issue. But for do that, a one will study the issue properly because you want to be evidence-based. And so Ministry of Health can conduct some study now and look at the extent and the effect. Even kush, people that use the word kush broadly. Kush more complex. You get different types of kush. Some that are imported, some that are local. They say then they use this mats, this rug that they use and they make kush. Then they use paints, they make kush. So all kinds of things and they use them for make kush. So we need to understand and fully. So we will tackle attitudes. But you're right, at the heart of it, we ministry for play a leading role for engage the public on waiting our own responsibility as a community for stop the one that, for example, with the sell, with the import some for hold them to account, while we hold the one that we already are victims and with love and with care. For let them be saved.
I want to take you to another dimension. Whenever we get discussion on peace and national cohesion, many civil society organizations then can make mention of the TRC report and what they will do. And also there's a revised school version. What do you hope for doing that area? Because you make mention, just not say, okay, you go through the ranks and you know issues that will happen, but then again there are others who are not aware of what happened in Sierra Leone, so that because of this lack of knowledge, they try to go into their own ways. What do you plan for do for that?
So you're right. One of the things that we suffer from in this country is we don't do enough for look back at the issues that we'll get. The problem, look, just now they talk even about with history, but people don't even know say this election that we happened recently, not a problem here. So the Total Reconciliation Commission report, now one of the blueprints them on how we for do civic education in this country. So how they enhance what we call patriotism. Part of the problem in this country, people they go online for go celebrate say we not get MCC. I will celebrate say your country not get investments in the resources where they can improve the energy where you forget. When are you they get the energy? So because we don't miss the conversation, you don't feel like saying like him versus me versus you. But that not you may blame the people like that because we don't invest enough for understand say Salon big pass we all. So what we get for do, even I make me glad the way APC they come because we don't get this right. Civic education, we have to don't have to talk about Salon. I want to bring Usman Timbo and my brother and say, you self talk about why we love Salon. We think the thing that we agree on. Let's talk about the Total Reconciliation Commission reports and the problem that we made in a Salon. So yes, but for do all lens and you need some level of national consensus. That's now I can always say we can disagree, but we don't need to be disagreeable. We for look at the history and use that as a basis for learn for go before. And then challenge and they will still get. But now then issue and we go address and inshallah. Okay.
So as we close, the minister need for go they go do government work. But Marcus, finally and quickly, waiting will be your comment into this whole issue of governance and national cohesion. We don't talk about the economy as well. You know, one person way most times when they talk about the economy now, we can get you. What do you think is the way forward?
We get a lot to do because economy as it is right now, a cut in the web, and there is so much hardship. government gets a lot of things to do. Just like we, Mr. Bam mentioned, the fact say it gets a lot of factors there where actually they make certain things they push. He even mentioned the aspect of the Leone, right? But when you look at that, all entities, the economy bad, and it is as a result of bad policies passed. Because we don't go to mention certain things. They will mention say this. You understand? They will not mention the fact say if we money don't fall. You understand? We're not getting external means for Putin. You understand? Eh? Now the fact say that the government, because now in the in power, now in the in authority. So as a result of that, the government for able, you understand, for make sure say you pass policies. We all know about the currency. You understand? Can you imagine? We use two different papers, at different times. You understand? We use it. Look at the Leone now. I remember the officer parents for say for about you pay $2,000. Some time ago, just about 1 or 2 years, it's going to be around 23 million.
Yeah,
you understand? 25, yes, you understand? Eh? Now you talk about 40-something million.
Okay.
You understand? We go pay. So as a result of that, it is still the government we get the onus. You understand? For make sure say they transform things around with very good policies.
On dialogue, what you need to expect?
On dialogue, government still gets much for do, though they trivialize the issue. And we don't need for trivialize the issue because of the fact say when you talk the whole aspect of government, you talk about governance is about having everybody on board, inclusivity, then participation. Because participation are one of the major features of good governance. So if you get a group of people, we know they participate because of 1 or 2 reasons, understand? You get for fair way for lobby them. Fair way for lobby them and make it be real. So of them and they don't arrest most of the supporters and during election time. Start there. Find ways and means for make sure say, you understand? Because they're part of the same thing, right? Okay. Make sure say, try them people a little quick and make sure say, you set some of them free, you understand? But if you hold them, then you still continue, you talk about dialogue, are you able for make, you know, that you water down the person in tempo, you understand, eh? In disgruntledness and all that. So government gets a responsibility for make sure say, they look at the aspect and they address the issues, then they, because the aspect where I talk about legitimacy, except either blind or reluctant to accept the fact. Somebody like me, they come, I don't say, are they very critical? I'm critical, and I always try for play objectivity. And I get a lot of people that really commend me, even within the party, you understand? So, but it is not all time, like certain time you don't get APC people that way, don't attack we. You understand? Even say SNP don't buy we. You understand? Just imagine. So as a result, but that we choose for B. You understand? Because you must get people within, when you look at situation, you level either criticism for the good of all, or you give support when it is good.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Marcus Bangura, for joining me in the program this morning. And we appreciate the time of the minister as well, the Minister of Civic Education and Information for in time, Chernor.